Hello, my name is Crystal Stevens, and you are in the Flourish Apothecary. Behind me, you see a variety of dried herbs and medicinal preparations that we create here with our own fresh and dried medicinal herbs here at Flourish Farm and Botanical Sanctuary. Today, I'll be demonstrating a few herbal preparations. One will be a tincture, followed by an elixir, and then we will discuss an infused vinegar, and an oxymel. The first herbal preparation will be a tincture, a folk tincture. There are many ways to make a tincture. It's simply a botanical extract using fresh or dried herbs in a solvent such as vodka, vinegar, glycerin. There's a variety of different solvents you can use. Some of the best solvents, in my opinion, based on my experience, would be the clear liquors or brandy. I really love the flavor of a brandy tincture. It's a little more pricey than a vodka tincture. Botanical extracts, you can do a single herb extract or combine the herbs to enhance each other as synergistic herbs. You can combine herbs for a specific purpose. For instance, if you want herbal support for cold and flu virus, you can combine a myriad of medicinal herbs that will offer support during cold and flu season. In this instance here, we are going to make a single herb extract using hawthorn berries. For the folk method of tincture making, it's best to follow standard ratios. For example, if you're using fresh root bark or berries, you want to fill it no more than 1/2 of the way full. If you're using dried, they tend to expand, creating more space in the jar with the plant matter. So you would want to go 1/4 to 1/3 for root, bark, and berries. Same with fresh and dried leaves and flowers. You want to add less leaves and flowers that are dried than you would fresh, because the dry will expand and soak up more of that alcohol. You always want it to be completely filled to the top. So the ratios for leaves for dried herbs would be 1/3 to 1/2 full for dried herbs, and you could go 2/3 to 3/4 for the fresh herbs. So those are the ratios for the standard folk tincture method. So let's begin. So these are hawthorn berries. Here's the dried version of hawthorn berries, and here are the fresh. We have fresh hawthorn berries. Be sure to do proper plant identification when you are wild crafting medicinal herbs. Always know how to correctly identify. These are indeed hawthorn berries. Hawthorn berries are an excellent source of vitamin C. They are rich in antioxidants and have a lot of wonderful vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients in them. Hawthorns are known to have an affinity for the heart, so they help to improve circulation, and also in the emotional sense, they can help with grief and heartache and loss, anxiety and depression as well. So hawthorn berries, there are some contraindications. There are specific heart medications that are contraindicated for usage with hawthorn. But it is a heart tonic, so if you have a family history of heart issues or problems, but you yourself have not been diagnosed with heart issues or ailments, you might consider taking a tonic dosage of hawthorn to improve circulation and heart health, and to as a antioxidant and a preventative herb. So this is about 1 cup of fresh hawthorn berries. We're just going to add it to a clean and dry jar. I did wash the berries first and dry them. So we'll just do about a 1/2 jar full, so that's about 1 cup. And we are going to fill that all the way to the tippy top, all the way to the top, to prevent any herbs from floating to the surface and potentially causing mold. So when you are making a tincture, it's best to fill it all the way to the top. You don't want to leave any head space. And then you will put your lid on it. All the way to the top to where it's almost flowing over. And if it flows over just a little bit, that's fine. You want to be sure to always label your ingredients. On this label, I have that it's a hawthorn tincture made with hawthorn berries and 80 proof vodka, that I made it on October 25th, 2023, and that it will be strained in 1 month, and the expiration date will be 1 year from the strain date. Now, for a folk tincture, the method after you've completed this step, so you're extracting it in alcohol, so you want to shake it daily. It's very important to have it shaken daily. I keep some of my strained tinctures near the coffee so that I know to shake it daily as I'm having my morning coffee. There's many ways you can do this. You can set a reminder on your phone. You can add it to your calendar. It's shaken every day for an entire month. That's optimal plant medicine. I would say actually between 4 and 6 weeks would be optimal plant medicine. That's how long it takes for these active constituents and alcohol-soluble constituents to come out into the vodka. Now I'll show you how to strain a tincture. This is actually a goldenrod tincture made with leaf and flower. Every tincture can be strained in the same way, every folk tincture. You can use a fancy tincture press, but this method works just fine. So you just have to have a wide mouth jar that's big enough to kind of rest a mesh strainer. So I use a piece of cloth with fine woven fabric and a mesh strainer and a wide mouth jar. It is a little bit messy when you get into the pouring of the tincture, but you just have to be patient and kind of go slow. To strain the tincture, you simply pour it over this cloth and let it go down into the jar. You can also use a coffee filter if you have a large coffee filter. That will take a little bit longer. I like to use a tea towel or a piece of scrap fabric. And if you wanted to get all of the good medicine out of there, you can pull it all into the cloth. Be careful because it is saturated with vodka, so it's best to wear gloves during this part, but I'm not touching it too much. So you simply put it in the cloth and then you can twist it. Try not to touch the alcohol too much. And then you can just use a spoon to push down and get more of the liquid out. If you were wearing gloves, you could twist it completely and handle it that way and just squeeze it. I'm not going to do that without gloves on, but just to show you, you can just keep getting more medicine out of there. This is when a tincture press does come in handy to get all of the good medicine. Upon straining, and I'll put gloves on and squeeze the rest out of this here in a moment, but to finish the tincture, you would basically put it in a new clean and dry jar. Be sure to label it. Look at that beautiful color of the goldenrod. So this would be goldenrod tincture. I already have it labeled from before. I like to just write on the lids with a Sharpie, or you can make a label that has all of the pertinent information, specifically the type of vodka you used, whether it's what kind of percentage or proof the vodka is, and the ingredients. Always label your tinctures. You might think that you'll know what it is, but trust me, as that herb changes and starts to break down, you will not be able to tell unless it's something like hawthorn berries. But have it labeled, and then this can be stored in an amber glass bottle to preserve its shelf life, or you can keep it in a cabinet or a cool, dark location out of direct sunlight for about up to a year. After that, you can transfer it to little tincture bottles. So I like to go from the amber glass to the tincture bottles using a funnel. Individual tincture bottles can then be labeled with the correct ingredients, and make your labels kind of cute, and those can be stored for up to a year, sometimes two, depending on what herbs. If it's root or bark, I tend to go a little bit longer, like up to 2 years. For leaf and flower, up to 1 year. So that's how to make and strain a tincture, and those are the various steps.